Hello everyone, my name is Mark Kluge, I'm the team leader marketing of Kawasaki Robotics EMEA, and this is my colleague Christian Rauch.
Hello, I'm Christian Rauch, thank you Mark. I was responsible for the coordinating of the launch of our Cobot. So yeah, we'd like to show you our newest member in the Kawasaki portfolio. And
of course we talk a little bit about the reasons also of this development, the cooperation with Neura Robotics. Because similar to the previous lecture that we heard, this is kind of similar to what we just heard. The idea is that cobots, of course, are inexpensive, easy to set up, extremely flexible, and seemingly, but we heard about the limits, there is no need for additional safety measures. But we often made the observation during our time that customers struggle to make a choice between the benefits of cobots that seem very appealing, but at the same time to take into account the real needs and the reliability that industrial robots provide. And we asked ourselves and also want to discuss today that how can robotics manufacturers support the growing needs of this automation in small to mid-sized businesses, and also bridge the gap towards intuitive programming, because this goes hand in hand with cobots. It is not just about the hardware, it's also about making it more accessible, both of course in cost, but also in teaching methods and time required for that.
yeah, here you can see the main market drivers for the cobots. So basically, maybe it's my opinion, but I think it's really one big point is that it's with the easy, affordable cobots, it's more and more possible for smaller companies to get automation inside their facilities. So before, also it was a matter of cost and also the problem to have the experts to program the robot. And this now is getting more and more easy with the cobot. Just move it around, press button to save the position, and have an easy and quick programming of the cobot and immediately start producing. Yeah.
Now, speaking a little bit about what Kawasaki is doing, don't worry, we won't bore you with sales pitches or anything, but just to give you an idea of why we made those decisions, as you can see here, there's a bit of our marketing speech, but overall, it's all about, we were looking also for the right partner to collaborate with, and the company Neura Robotics, who you hopefully have also seen their exhibition here today, provided exactly the right partner. So by now we also launched into a more of a technological cooperation. And the idea was to create a cobot line that not only has a certain variety of payloads, but also provides a new and agile approach to cobots that kind of combines our advantages of industrial robots that we have been, since 1969, that Kawasaki has been pushing. So we wanted to have exactly the right robots, cobots in this case, to support that. And of course, we get more into some of the details later and why we think they are relevant also for customers, including the intuitive user interface and just the easy, even the hard facts like accuracy, speed, etc. Let me show you a little bit here how it's working. Just a short overview, but of course, we'll tell you later also about and invite you to visit us and see and try for yourself. So even things like the IP66 certification is extremely important, in high demand from our customers, to have that variety both in reach and payload. The speed, repeatability, also at the moment very high up in the market. The teaching method, including a recorded move function, again, as you can see in our booth in Hall B5, extremely easy, and of course, in addition to typical handling and palletizing applications, welding was also one of our key aspects that we wanted to cover, and we can show you more about this in a moment, and of course later in person. Just to give you a little overview.
So the summary of the specification basically is it's really cutting-edge technology, safe in every environment with all its safety features. One point to really focus on is the IP66 protection level. This is quite unique feature of this cobot now. It's cost efficient, really precise, and from all the different payloads and reach levels, you have a maximum flexibility with our cobot.
Now, I mentioned also the variety in terms of payload and reach, just a little overview for you, including also because that gives also our customers the flexibility they also expect from typical handling series that we have, that our competitors also have, and that is extremely important to make sure it fits every imaginable need.
So some technical specifications. Yeah, it's a real-time motion controller. You have the robot API to program even from outside, not only on the teach pendant, which is like a tablet and easy drag and drop like you use your smartphone to have quickly a program ready to run. The safety features are the like common known safety features like traditional robots have. The new one is the safe torque, which means if the robot touches or hits a person, it stops. Yeah, you can see the dimension and weight of our control cabinet. The thing to mention here is we have Ethernet IP on board, digital I/O and safety I/O to include additional safety stop, door, and so on. Yeah, here you can see again the overview of the different payload levels. The reach speed is up to 200 degrees per second of one axis, and weight, yeah, from 17 to 55 kilograms. And we also have in Kawasaki, we used, like seen before, like traditional, even bigger robots to do some kind of easy teaching. So this is, for example, with the 3D mouse we put to the robot connector at the front to move the robot. We also have some offline programming tools and other development in future. So there's a big variety of easy programming, even with traditional robots in our portfolio.
Yeah, it's all about making it as accessible as possible, both with cobots, industrial robots, everything in between, to make sure it just saves time and money for the customer. Now, we just want to take a little overview. Now we talked a bit about what we are doing, but overall, and there it comes together, we also made the observation that, the first question is, of course, like where are cobots the best choices? Where might industrial robots be the best choice? And for us, of course, the primary area was anything handling, assembly. That is, I think, by now almost a classic cobot area. But something that's certainly also growing, and we also encountered this with our customers, is palletizing. So there's a growing need, especially since it's a repetitive, hazardous, and heavy work for many people. And often to justify the expense of doing a whole industrial robot setup is difficult for many companies. So in this case, cobots, especially with rising payloads, they offer the advantages in many regards, maybe to a degree, but it's easy to implement, it's relatively cost efficient. Of course, in terms of cycle time, payload, speed, there's a limit, but we certainly notice also the high demand and are trying to cover this at the moment. Especially with higher payloads, like I mentioned, there's a growing demand for this. But as we heard previously in a previous lecture, this is also the area where it becomes difficult, and you have to make sure, do you actually lose the benefits of the cobot because you have to construct safety measures and everything. So this is really where it depends on the individual situation. And the last area we want to mention is welding, actually. We just saw it in the video. There's a growing need. Welding, of course, arc welding requires very high precision and high standards in performance, which is growing in the cobot market, and we are also trying to offer this. You saw the values of speed and accuracy, and also in cooperation with our technology partner, we have developed this new arc welding software. So we're also seeing how this develops and where this goes, but generally this is also something where a lot of customers are extremely interested in implementing this and being way more flexible in their welding processes. Just a little summary, just to ask ourselves where are benefits and limitations. That, of course, in itself is a very complex question, so the answer is a bit simple. But cobots are cost efficient, both in investment of money, time, manpower. They are flexible, but of course there's a limit. It always requires the right planning, right consultation, and it needs to be taken into consideration if it needs to scale up for the customer in this particular application. I think there's often stories of cobots sitting somewhere in the corner because they they were great first, but then they didn't fulfill the requirements. And this is something we also want to help to avoid and make sure that, yeah, I mean, it's up to the customer. It's up to talk to the customer and looking at their needs. So to have all of those options of cobots, industrial robots is extremely important. And at the end, I think our goal and many other companies is to provide the best of the both worlds and really allow this flexibility in their portfolio. Before I close, just a brief summary. I mean, we talked a lot about it, but feel free to visit us in Hall B520 and see for yourself, try it out, and talk to our experts. So we'll answer some questions, of course, but you have all the opportunity later, of course. Thank you very much.